It's about passion for a sport we all enjoy. It's about conservation, education, community, and fellowship. It's about a single voice of strength. It's about being part of a common cause for the common good. It's about you. It's about us. It's our time to come together.
We're asking you to join us
and become proud members of American Catfish Association. You'll be happy you did. They're doing a great job.
Yeah, they are.
Hey everybody, welcome to the 25th version of ACA Live. Glad everybody can join us. If you can, share this, get your friends over, and join us every Monday night, 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 Central. Tonight we got a great guest, and we're going to get to that in a second. Just want to kind of recap a little bit about what happened last week with the Mega Bucks event. Absolutely fantastic. Sold out in seven and a half minutes. And we have a waiting list set up for that. If you go to MississippiRiverMonsters.com/Mega Bucks waiting list, you can get your name on the waiting list. And the way that we're going to do it is pretty simple. What we're going to do is we're going to take all the names. Now, the waiting list is going to be open until Friday, this coming Friday at midnight. After that, it closes. No exceptions. So when and if a registration opens up, a spot opens up for the Mississippi River Monsters Mega Bucks event, we will go to that list and we will randomize it and we'll pick it and we'll do it live. So it's everybody is clear on how that's going on. Now, another thing I want to talk about is that there's a group of tournament or trail that is giving away a Mega Bucks entry. Now, there's some confusion out there, and I just want to square this away as quickly as I can, nip this in the bud, is that we were contacted by the tournament organizers, and they asked if they could purchase a ticket, an entry to give away. And we said, sure. It's great for catfishing, gets people excited. However, they will be, and we told them they had to be responsible for registering the same time everybody else did. And they did. They were fortunate enough to get not one, but 2 entries. So they were given approval before before announcing the giveaway of this. So anybody that thinks that this was all done beforehand and everything else is wrong. They had to register the same time everybody else did. So I hope that kind of clears that up. So anyways, Ron Presley's with us tonight. And for those of you that don't know who Ron Presley is, Ron has been in the fishing industry for quite some time. He's an accomplished writer, and he does so much for the catfishing community through his editorials, his editing of the very, very popular Catfish Now digital magazine, which is the official publication of the American Catfishing Association. And let me bring Ron in here, if I may. Ron, how are you?
Doing great. Finally got some cool weather here in Florida.
Yeah, well, I'm a little bit further south than you. Now, you're up in here, Cocoa Beach, right?
Cocoa Beach, Port Canaveral, yeah.
You get to see all the rocket launches real clear.
If I don't see them, I hear them. I get woke up once in a while.
I go running outside, and I have it timed, Ron. From where I am,
yeah,
it's about 30 seconds to a minute before I see it over the horizon, depending on which way it's going.
Yeah, you got a little time. Those sonic booms will rattle windows, I'll tell you.
Oh yeah, no, I love seeing it. I've gone up to the Kennedy Space Center a number of times. I'm a bit of an aviation geek, so I love that kind of stuff. So, Ron, how long have you been at this?
Well, the catfishing really probably about since 2016. So I'm a newcomer in my mind to catfishing. You know,
Yeah.
my writing career started in saltwater fishing because I was actually a saltwater guide for about 10 years after I moved to Florida. And
Where did you guide out of, Ron?
I got it right here out of Merritt Island, Cocoa Beach. Mostly in the rivers, though, in the backwaters.
Okay.
I mean, I did do some guiding out in the ocean, but I never did like it out there. It just, I don't like riding those waves and bumping up and down. You know, I
You
like
got
the
to have the
smoother
right boat
river.
for it.
You
Yeah, no,
do
I'm
at that, yeah.
yeah,
And I had a
yeah.
good boat too. I fish out of a Pathfinder. It's a pretty nice bay boat.
Was it like a flats boat or kind of a hybrid?
No,
Or was
it's
it
more of
center
a
cut, full
hybrid.
center cut? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a center console.
Right, right.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, they're a nice boat. Nice boat.
yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, we go out here in the Atlantic, and some days it can get, and especially now that the weather's beginning to change, and when the wind starts to clock around and goes from the southeast to the northeast, and the wind's now pushing up against the current, it gets real snotty out there.
Yeah, it can get rough. I've been out there a few times when it's just pretty dadgum rough.
Yeah, yeah. Well, a quick story. Several years ago, I found this boat and was ready to buy this boat, and a very very good friend of mine, my best friend down here, I was telling him about it. He says, "Well, I was thinking about doing the same thing." I said, "Well, you know what? Why don't we go in on it together? I mean, we'll probably be out fishing together probably 90% of the time, anyways." So fast forward, I don't know, about 3 or 4 years, he decides one day he's going to take the day off, and he headed out into the Atlantic. Well, I get a phone call. I work from home. I get a phone call about 11:30, 12 o'clock, and he said, "We're in trouble." I said, "What do you mean we're in trouble? I'm here working. What's going on?" I look outside, Ron, and it was black. The rain was going sideways, and he was out in the Atlantic. Long story short, the boat went down.
Oh,
He
no.
was okay. Yeah. He blames it on me because we were having trouble with the bilge pump. And we were at the marine store a week or two before. And I said, "No, too expensive here. I'll find it cheaper." And we never got it. So he blames it on me.
Yeah. Well,
Go ahead.
We
I'm sorry.
We were fortunate to have some good fishing right out of the port. There's sometimes there's good fishing in the port, and the buoy line out just outside the port was always pretty good. And in the summertime, those big old tarpon, come rolling down for really early spring through summer when the mullet run starts.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
one of the best trips I ever had, I'd taken my grandson and a couple of his friends out, and they hooked up 130-pound tarpon out there, and those three boys changed the rod, I think, 9 times. One had taken a while, another had taken a while, so it was an awesome day. So the ocean offers some great fishing.
Oh, it's unbelievable. There's been times where we've been out there during the summertime, and the water is just like glass, and it's like going out into National Geographics.
Yeah.
I mean, there's porpoise. We saw a school of stingray. They were jumping. I mean, turtles. There's several whale shark that come by here every so often. I haven't been fortunate enough to see one yet, but they're out there.
Yeah.
And then and you probably get this somewhat up there too, but during the summer months, the sharks, especially the bull sharks, are so thick because they're going after the bonita. It's like,
Oh yeah.
it's like candy for them.
They get really thick.
Yeah, yeah, and it's incredible, but it's so much fun. So you were guiding for 10 years or so.
Yeah, I was guiding redfish, trout, and regular saltwater stuff. And at that time, I actually met TJ Stallings.
Okay.
Did you know TJ?
I know the name.
But TJ was director of marketing and crazy ideas for TTI Blakemore. He Daihatsu, Roadrunner,
Yep.
And in fact, over my right shoulder there, that's TJ in the blue shirt. He was on the second cover of Catfish Now. That would have been November of 2016. And I saw him. Well, first of all, through him, I got to doing some crappie tournaments because we do have some good crappie fishing down here in Florida. And I was doing some crappie fishing, writing a little for Crappie Now, which Crappie Now, as it turns out, is the sister publication to Catfish Now, both published by Dan Dannenmuller. But
Right.
through TJ, I would see him often at some of the tournaments because he traveled around too. But I saw him fishing with Larry Muse one day in the Mississippi River, and they were bumping, of course, and they were catching some big fish. And I just told TJ, I said, I'd like to do that sometime. I mean, I wasn't catfishing at all. Well, in my area here, we don't have any big trophy blues or anything like that. We got channel cats, and that's about it. Unless you go up in the Panhandle where we got some betters. But at any rate, told TJ I'd sure like to try that sometime. And well, if you would have known TJ, and he's gone now, we lost him a little too soon. Sorely missed the big C, but it wasn't 10 days, I think, I found myself on Wilson Lake with Larry Muse. And so that was my first experience with trophy catfishing.
You couldn't ask for anybody to go fishing better to go catfishing with.
No kidding. What a way to start. But we caught, I think, maybe a 20-pound fish that day. Well, to me, this is what people forget, people that hadn't done it. To me, that was a huge fish. That was a big old fish. And Larry was so disappointed because, those trophy catfishermen, if it ain't 30 pounds, it don't count. So,
right.
And some more than that. But anyway, that kind of got me started, and I started following some tournaments, started writing more about it and so on. And a time come, and I thought, well, Dan's publishing that crappie now. We need to have a catfish now. I thought I had a good idea. And actually, I contacted TJ again because TJ was actually involved with the Crappie Now publication too as an advisor and so on. And he told me at that time, he said, I think Dan may be interested in that. Why don't you contact him? And I did. And it turned out Dan had already bought the
URL
website. And he already had that and was planning on doing it. He was just looking for an editor. And so, however that happens,
timing is everything, right?
We got together and we started it. And actually, this being October, it's really, this October issue that came out yesterday or a day before yesterday started our 6th year.
That's
the
fantastic.
First one was in October of 2016. So we're into it 6 years deep, a lot of good content, and all
great
of it
content
available to people to look back at. And some of the things I might mention tonight are using the website and so on, because there's so much content on there. But we got hacked here back in July. And
I remember,
boy, it just really done. We're still fighting it, as a matter of fact. But at any rate, the content is all there, and sometimes the links don't get it. But we're working on that, and it'll be up to date pretty darn soon. But that's kind of how I got into the catfish world, not being a catfish angler anyway. And to begin with, I just fished for about anything growing up, and then when I moved to Florida, of course, it was saltwater fishing all the way. And my first writing was in the saltwater area. Wrote a couple books.
Now that's, when did you start writing?
Oh, gee, that would have been back in the late 99, maybe 2000, about in there. I can't remember for sure, but so it's been a while. I moved here in 98, and of course, been right here ever since. But
now, if I may ask, where did you move from, Ron?
Well, I came here from Texas. Actually, I was in university teaching back in Texas at a couple places and administration. And one day, just decided, my daughter had gotten married and moved to Florida, and I come down here to visit, and man, all this water. I just
Yeah.
fell in love with all the water. And we went back home, and I told Karen, I said, we could be living down there and
Pack your bags, honey. We're moving.
quit a perfectly good job and move to Florida, and I haven't really regretted a minute of it. I'm loving it. But,
yeah. No, I moved down to Florida in 1997.
Oh, okay.
So,
well, we're pretty
yeah.
close.
The parallels are kind of there. And I, like you, I used to fish for just about anything I could. And I spent a lot of time down here with my grandfather, fishing for snook and things like that. So saltwater was always in my blood as a kid.
Yeah.
But up north, we used to on the Great Lakes and Niagara River and such. I mean, there's all sorts of great fishing up there as well. But Ron, you've done so much for the catfishing community, as well as obviously the whole staff of catfishing now. Dan Dannemuller. We were talking before the show started as far as when we actually met, and we pretty much nailed it down. I think it was right around then, 2016 at ICAST.
That's probably the first time. Yeah.
Right. And Dan and I at least go way back into 2012 when we first introduced rig wrap to the industry. Dan was and remains my first pro staff member. He loved the product for crappie. I mean, we were 3-4 deep when we introduced rig wrap at ICAST, which was just amazing to me. Catfishing came on, and like you, again, the parallel, it was Larry Muse who started to introduce the catfishing community to rig wrap. And that was about the same time, 2015, 2016. And that's where I started to really get involved in catfishing as well.
That's a lot of parallels there, huh?
Yeah, there are.
And here we are, both of us tonight in Florida, and I'll tell you, I'm a long ways from what I call good catfishing. I mean, even if I went to the Panhandle, it's 6 or 7 hours.
I was researching it. Do you know, Ron, that in Lake Okeechobee there are catfish, a lot of channel cats. Now, I don't believe there's any blues, but I think there might be a hint of some flatheads in there as well.
I've also heard there are a few red tails, that exotic catfish down there. But I don't see much about it at all. But
no, and I would think that they would consider that to be invasive, so they probably wouldn't want to promote it too much.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I mean, it's Lake Okeechobee for me is only about I don't know, it's maybe about 20 miles, 25 miles west.
You need to go over there and give that a try.
I plan on it. I definitely plan on it, because I was reading an article and I was going, I'll be damned. There's catfish in there.
I went out yesterday to the St. John's, which is the closest place for me to go, and I love it over there because it's such a beautiful river. But
it is.
I actually hooked a couple of good ones, landed one of them, and there's some good channel cats over there.
Yeah, and then as you mentioned, up in the Panhandle, that's when you start getting into the blues and the flatheads.
I helped them bring a tournament to Florida, and this was way back there. This was before Catfish Now. And what I remember about that was the anglers were all worried about what would happen to the fish, because, as you know, most catfish anglers are very conservation minded, and they're not into really killing them. And at that time in Florida, if you caught a flathead, they
didn't want it back in the water.
No, they didn't want it back in the water, So
yeah.
I think they finally just determined, as far as the tournament rules, if you catch it, it's your fish, and you can do what you want to with it. So,
Georgia has it actually is a law. I was reading through regulations in Georgia a while back, and they actually have in their regulation that states in certain parts of Georgia that if you catch a certain species of catfish, you are not to put it back in the water.
Yeah,
it's terrible. And I think a lot of these states don't realize the economic impact that catfishing has in certain states and regions of the country.
Well, that's what I was going to say about that. If they need to realize the economic impact, and
Right.
they'll start treating it more like they do some of the other tourism areas.
Oh yeah, no, I mean it's now according to what we've read and what we've been told. It is now the number 2 segment in the recreational fishing industry with over 10 million anglers targeting catfish. And bass is around, I think it's about 16 million.
Yeah. And it just continues to grow, I think.
It does. It does. It's important that, and that's one of the reasons I think that, catfish now is growing as successful as it is that there's certainly more interest in it. And just for those that don't know, if you head over to catfishnow.com, you can subscribe to it and you can see some great information, articles, obviously that Ron has penned, and articles that other folks and Ron, I want to get with people that are in the chat. They have them ask questions. You're the one that's always out there asking the questions and taking the photos. And I think that, it's great to get to learn about Ron Presley instead of Ron Presley always being on the other side of it. So
Yeah.
I think this is a real treat for a lot of us.
I'm glad you said that, because my comments weren't on. I just turned them on. I can see those there now.
Oh, good. So
little shout out to some of those folks: Chad Mayfield and Rick Page, Jimmy Mears. Hello, you guys. It's good to see you. Lisa Gale, Haraway, Matthew Jones, all of them. And Chad, I noticed, because his picture's in the magazine this month, if I recall.
Really? You put Chad's picture in the magazine?
Yeah. That's one of the things.
Did he pay you to do that? Did he pay you to do that?
No, I had to ask him permission.
Wow.
You get in trouble if you do that without permission.
It's.
But no, that's one of the things. And let me just give a shout out here.
Please do.
I wrote them. I looked through today. This is the October.
Bring you up. I'm going to give you full screen. Go ahead, Ron.
This is the October issue, and the anglers that are included in the October issue, which just come out a couple of days ago: Brian Barton, Aaron Churchwell, John and Christy Orr, Daniel Gogan, Megan Brinkley, Jeff Brinkley, and Black's Camp owner Kevin Davis. If you know Black's Camp, that's on Santee Cooper. Great catfish destination. Christina Lemke, Chris Souders, and here's a good one: Reed Richards. He's the 3.5-year-old son of Tyler Richards and Katie Thompson. And in fact, he was the December 2020 cover boy. So Reed is already making his name in the catfish world at 3.5 years old. He's awesome.
Isn't that great, the way the young kids are coming in?
Yeah. And even his younger brother Rhett made an appearance in that story. So that's a few of them. Philip Nordmeyer's in there, Chris Jones, Mike Mitchell, Michael Haney's in a story by Keith Sutton. If people don't know Keith Catfish Sutton, I mean, that is the premier writer in my mind in the catfish world. He doesn't have that nickname Catfish for nothing, but he's one of our writers. Yeah. And Michael Haney, by the way, is on the cover this time. And then Chad Mayfield. That's what reminded me of this when I saw Chad's name there in the chat. But all of those people, and then every month it's a bunch more catfish anglers that are in there, because it's really all about the anglers when it comes down to it.
That's exactly it. I mean, that's what the ACA was created for, is for the anglers, for the community.
And every level, level of anglers. So some of the things that we do in there, I'll be reaching out to people often because every month we put a 2 catfish basics is what we call it in there. And they're just short little tips about catching fish. And will reach out to 2 different anglers to find out what they do. So those tips you can find in the magazine. And of course, you mentioned subscribing, and it isn't necessary to subscribe at all. To me, it's a plus if you subscribe, because you then will get a notice of when the new one comes out.
Exactly.
And it's kind of weird because it always comes out on the 15th of the month, and people just don't seem to get used to that. They expect a magazine on the 1st, but since we've got crappie now and catfish now,
Yeah, you got to
from
spread
the
it
same
out.
publisher. We kind of split it up. We do crappie now first of the month, catfish now on the 15th. So, always watch for the new month's magazine on the 15th.
Right. Now, Ron, I've gone to a number of events over the last several years, and every time I show up, there you are. How much? I mean, obviously with COVID and everything else, it's been a problem for all of us for traveling. But before COVID, or now that we're seemingly getting back to normal, at least I hope so. How much traveling do you do in a year?
Oh, if you go back a couple of years, it was. I don't know. I've never really counted up the miles or anything, but believe me, it's a bunch. And and right now when I think about back when I started, there was a few places that you went. Yeah. Now there would be no way to even start
to get them all
to cover a few of them, and it's getting to be really tough. I just keep thinking of that old "you're only one guy." Because there's so many things to cover. This past weekend, I couldn't believe how many tournaments I saw mentioned on Facebook and so on. The
Southeastern. The Big Money Showdown.
The Big Money. That's what I was trying to think of. They had 103 boats.
Yep.
They had the great charity tournament too. The Isaac Strong Catfish Classic. And there are so many of those charity tournaments coming up now. We got Patriot Catfishing, and I saw posts today where they were taking veterans out, and I love those programs where those people do that.
I think it's fantastic. And I've said this before, and I'll always say it, is the catfishing community is probably the most generous bunch of folks out there, and it's great the way they rally around a cause or a person, and they just knock themselves out to do what they can.
Generous and caring,
Oh, it's fantastic to see.
And I saw another one today. I want to mention it. Christmas for Kids coming up November 6th. Put it on your calendar.
It's on Pickwick, isn't it? I think
it's out of Decatur this year, I believe.
Is it? Okay.
I think it is. Yeah, and that's Ryan Lawrence. For one, I know Edmund Crowden's usually involved in that, and
Yep.
I don't know. There's so many. I get them confused, to tell you the truth.
We've got, last year. In fact, I'll tell you what, Ron. We're gonna break here real quick. When we come back, I've got some of these tournaments, and last week we weren't able to get to that, and the week before is when Facebook went down. So I've got a couple pages of some tournaments, at least the ones that I have results from. We're gonna go through that real quick, and then we're gonna spend more time with Ron and get your questions ready when we come back and see if you can get the answer to this question.
Fear of failure is failure itself. The world of science rewards the ones who are willing to try and fail, because with the courage to fail and to learn, ideas can change the world.
Hey guys, Pipeline here. Do you want the absolute best when it comes to the performance of your reels?
Choose the company Tournament Anglers trust. From our top-notch reel services
to high-end quality terminal tackle.
Trust in
Pipeline Tackle.
It's about conservation, education, community, and fellowship. It's about being part of a common cause for the common good. It's about you. It's about us. It's our time to come together.
From cane poles to crappie rods to catfish, B&M continues. B&M continues making memories for over 75 years.
Did you know which one that was, Ron?
You know what? I didn't read those questions. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. It was the Missouri, the Mississippi, and the Yukon River are the longest rivers in the United States. The Yukon was kind of threw me off when I was researching it because I wasn't even thinking up in Alaska.
No, I wouldn't have been either.
Yeah. I was thinking that it was either be the Ohio or the Colorado, but nope, Yukon. And the Missouri River is just a little bit longer than the Mississippi. So
actually longer.
Missouri River's longer. Yeah, it's just a little bit longer than the Mississippi. But I'm guessing that certainly not in our lifetime, but as the what do you call it? As the Mississippi dumps out into the Gulf and it keeps creating the landmass, it will eventually become even a little longer. So who knows?
Interesting trivia.
Yeah, every week we do two questions, and I'll tell you what. After this is the 25th show, that's 50 questions. It's tough. It's tough coming up with them. Yeah, it does. I mean, it's just like I'm pulling stuff out of nowhere. But once I start getting into it, I do research online and come up with the stuff and put it out there. I think people have fun with it. At least I hope so. But what's it? JT and Casey Ray, they got it right. Chad, you missed it. David Funk, you missed it. Lisa Haraway,
what letter was it?
C. It was C. It was
C. Yeah.
Yeah. It was the Missouri, the Mississippi, and the Yukon rivers. We got another river coming up. Another river question coming up, too. So, anyways, let me go quickly through some of these tournaments. I got a couple pages here, because I'm going to go back to October 2nd with the Southeastern Catfish Club at Lake Waterley. Team Drifters with 80.27 pounds. That was Arnold Hodge, Missy Mixon, and Chuck Pazur. Team SC Cats, South Carolina Cats, I'm guessing. David Kingsmore, Bradley Tucker with 72.23 pounds. Team All Slimed Up. Let's see here. Joe Spittle, Chris Helms, and Carson Garrison, 60.6 pounds. Bama Blues on Pickwick Lake, October 2nd. What is it? Smash It Catfishing. Matt Russell and Samantha Cadell, 104.95 pounds. Southern Cats, Rick Sexton and Michelle Jackson, 83.4 pounds. Team Slime Cat, Jason Clark and Justin Frick, 80.95 pounds in third place. Central Texas Catfish Trail, this was October 9th now. Jimmy Lane and Dustin Kelly, 43.2 pounds, or 02 pounds. Cody Cosper and Cameron Cosper, 32.06 pounds. Devin Hogan and Brian Walker, 31.16 pounds. October 9th again, North Mississippi Catfish Club, Sardis Lake. Team Clay, Rolanda and Chris Clay, 22.93. Team Legion, Ligon, Dana and Damon. Team Smith family, Ramada and Jeremy Smith, 15.48. Santee Lakes Catfish Club, Lake Moultrie, October 9th. All Slime Guide Service, Rob Uncle, I guess it would be, and Danny Musson, 76.38 pounds. I screw up. That last name's bad, Ron. Plus my hen scratch here is terrible. Team WTF. I wonder what that means. Mike Rivers, Jerry Andrews, and Dennis Glover, 58.13 pounds. Team South Cats. Team SoCats. Richard Tucker and David Kingsmore, 51.47 pounds. And Tennessee River Catfish Club, I don't have the weights. I just have the top three winners here. Tyrone Hendrick and Mark Dio, Deyo, Jeff Sparks, and Ryan Lawrence. We were talking about the Southern, Big Money Showdown. I don't have, they're part of the Alliance. All these are Alliance members. And I don't have the score for the Big Money Showdown yet, or the results from that. It's in our system. Yeah. That's where I pull it from. And so when the tournament directors can get that stuff in there, we're able to report it. So over the last few weeks, we haven't been able to report that. And I just did it pretty quick. And sorry if I screwed up your name.
Yeah, actually, I'm hoping to follow up on that one myself. I've been too busy to do it so far, but I made some contacts today with some people. Hopefully there'll be a little story on that tournament coming soon. We'll find out how they fished.
Oh, yeah. No, it seemed like it was a great event. And, you know, again, hats off to all the Tournament Alliance members. And if you're a tournament that's not part of the ACA Tournament Alliance, come on in, join us. It's great. Folks all over the country are chasing points. You have a chance to win a wonderful, I mean, it's just a beautiful Sea Arc boat, Protege, custom wrapped, all sorts of goodies with a 200 horsepower Suzuki motor, the black motor, sitting on a deluxe Marine Master trailer. I mean, Sea Arc knocks themselves out, Ron.
Yeah,
they really do such a great job, along with Suzuki and Marine Master, and you see all these you know, brands above me here. You know, big shout out to them as far as supporting the catfish community.
Yeah, that was good timing. Yeah, I changed hats during the commercial, and now the green screen's messing with my Sea Arc hat.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, no.
Just like everyone else, the magazine depends on sponsors too, and B&M.
Yeah,
sure. Some of them are right up there on your screen as well.
Yeah, sure.
Tackle,
sure.
Driftmaster rod holders, Sea Arc, major supporters of everything catfish, and you know we can't say enough about them. We're very, very proud to have them supporting us as well.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's fantastic.
Yeah. And everything from tournaments to the charity events to everything else.
Yeah. You know, you can't give enough kudos to Steve Henderson and the whole family over at Sea Arc and all of Correct Craft. I mean, they're all responsible for it all. And it's just terrific. I want to see some questions for Ron. Ron's always the one asking questions. Let's ask some questions of him. So fire up your questions, guys. Let's get some questions. Give Ron a couple of, you know, good ones.
Somebody has something I can't answer.
Yeah, no, I'm sure you got quite a bit of information to share with folks, which is great. So after you went fishing with Larry Muse, how often were you able to get out to do some more catfishing?
Usually I would try to, when I'm traveling to a tournament or any kind of event, I'd try to, you know, tack on one day to go fishing or something. So over those years, I got to do quite a bit. But I'll tell you, like you mentioned, this COVID thing, it just killed me. I'm not traveling at all. I haven't traveled. And even yesterday, that little trip I took was a solo trip by myself because I'm still just staying away from it all, truthfully.
You know, it was a shame. I mean, I don't know if everybody heard the news, but General Colin Powell died with COVID complications. And I just heard, who was it? One of the members of the rock group Kiss, 52 years old, I think he was. He died of it as well.
Yeah, I didn't hear that one, but it's still it's bad. You have to respect it.
Yeah. No, you do. You do. I think these mandates, I think, are a little over the top. I think that people should be left to choose what they want to do. Personally, I got my shots, and you know I'll get a booster when it's ready because I just don't want to take a chance.
Yeah, me too. I had my shots as well. You know, Chad Mayfield's got a question.
Yep, I see it. I'll tell you what. Let me bring it up here. Show it. There it is. When is Ron going to come up and fish with Brooke and myself again?
Yeah, Brooke is his daughter, and this was after I've forgotten what tournament it was now, but it was on Wheeler, and we got to go out for a day and fish. And Brooke, actually, we did a little video that she ended up being in the magazine, And those things are always so much fun. And I'm ready to come, but we still got to see some improvement in this virus thing, Chad.
Yeah. No, we do. So Ron, you've been to probably every major tournament event out there as far as in catfishing, yes? Would you say? At one time or another?
Just about, except for Cat Masters. I have not made a Cat Masters.
Oh, you're gonna, yeah. Brian and company, Ty, James, Skinny, they do a super job.
They're taking the whole catfish world in a different direction, a better direction, I think.
Well, there's, it's, again, not to take anything away from Cat Masters and crew, but you've got guys all over the country that are raising the bar. This Big Money Showdown is a great event. You've got guys in the Mid-South. You have the Tri-State event coming up, and Stephen Hearn and the guys, Brian Mayo and that whole crew is putting together a big charity event coming up here.
Yeah.
So you want to look that up, and obviously George with Mississippi River Monsters now with this new Mega Bucks thing is kind of raising the bar once again. You have the folks, in the Midwest, was it Chasing Cats, Dave Studebaker and company. They just took over Monsters on the Ohio, and they're doing a great job. Their events are super. You now have Corey and Chris Ramsey stepping in to lend their expertise and abilities to Cabela's King Cat. Yeah, which I think it's going to really, really, help that trail out. Alex Nagy does a heck of a job, with his trail, and also with Alton.
You just keep naming them.
Yeah, Southeastern, Catfish Club, Yak and what is it? Yakin? I always screw this up.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah.
Yak and Catmaster. It's not Catmaster's Cat.
Catmaster.
I'll figure it out.
Yeah. I saw one yesterday called the Utah Village
there's
Classic
so
or something that paid $10,000. I never heard of it before. Paul Blackwell won it.
Yeah, no, there's all sorts of unbelievable events. Matt Miles has got King of the James coming up.
Yeah,
you got the folks all the way up in Pennsylvania with Catfish Mafia. They get a lot of teams in it. Bill Ladley started a trail this year, Lake Erie Catfish Challenge, and his first event. I think he had like 70 or 80 teams there. So yeah, it's snowballs.
It just snowballs. Absolutely.
They're growing by leaps and bounds. And again, if you're not in the alliance, come on in and join. We're setting the alliance up for next year, and we want to see so many people into it. There's another group of tournaments. They've come together, and I talked about this at the opening of the show. We were contacted prior to the registration for Megabucks, and they asked, can we purchase a ticket to give away at one of our events? And I talked to George, and he said, yeah, sure. It's going to be, it's helping the catfish kids, getting people excited, but we told them, I said, you, like everybody else, has to register at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 Central on Monday night. And they were ready. They were ready. They got their ticket, and they're giving away a free entry. Yeah. And they paid for that entry. They're giving away a $2,500 paid entry, which is it's just absolutely terrific to get people excited about their events and about catfishing.
That'll get some people excited, I think. Yeah. See Mark Johnson in the house here. He says we ought to have a catfish tournament on the St. Johns River, and that reminds me of an announcement that's coming soon. I see he said something about Southern All-Star Catfish Series.
Mark approached me several months ago. He says, hey, I got this idea. And I said, you know what? I think it's a good idea. And yeah, Mark and Marty from M&J, they're putting together a Division I event, big events. I think it'll be either 2 or 3 events called Southern All-Star Catfish Series. And that's going to, and Mark, I know you're there, so correct me if I'm wrong. The first one, I don't know if it's the first one, it's on Lake Gunnersville. And they've got 1 or 2 others that they're working on as well. So I know that Mark's been working really, really hard on it, and I think it's going to be a really, really great event. And it'll be 100 boats easily. We talked about Chris and Corey Ramsey, although they're going to be, have their work cut out for them with Cabela's King Cat next year. They are still doing their big January event, the Bama Blues event. Yeah. And they're capped that at 150 boats. So if you want to get into that, because I know last year they capped it at 100, and there was a lot of people that still wanted to fish it, so they raised it this year. They moved it to Decatur so that they could accommodate more boats, which I think is terrific. Great. And then you have the Sea Arc Invitational, and I mean, there's just so many great events out there throughout the country. I mean, I could go on for the next hour and try to remember half of them.
Hey, can you see that? Do you see my invitation to go fishing on Wilson? Can you pull that up?
Can I pull your invitation?
Yes, it says Facebook user. I'm going to be on Wilson this weekend. Come on up.
I don't know if I can pull that up.
I'm not
on Facebook.
Oh, well, this is in the comments. I thought you could tap.
Oh, this is in the comments. Okay.
Well,
I don't know who that is. Okay, yeah, we broadcast, Ron. We broadcast to the ACA Facebook page. We also have a YouTube channel which we broadcast to, which is ACA TV on YouTube, and we also simulcast to Catfishing America. So I think that if a user comes in at Catfishing America, the system asks them for their name, and sometimes they'll put it in, sometimes they won't. So
that's just what I said. I mean, I got an invitation, but I don't know who it is. So.
Yeah. So whoever you are, Facebook user, tell us who you are.
Facebook user, I appreciate that invite. Thank you.
Mark Johnson said, let's have a catfish tournament on the St. John's. I think that's a great idea.
That's not a bad idea. Not a bad idea.
Ron, you and I both go up there. I'll tell you what, you and I will get into a boat and we'll compete. We'll show them what the Florida boys can do.
Yeah, we actually have a tournament on the St. John's coming up next month, or is it later this month? It's called the Toy Rod Catfish Challenge, and we fish with Barbie rods, and mine are actually Superman rods, I believe. Those little toy things, but it's just a fun event for charity that we do over here. Hadn't done it for a couple of years because of the virus, but it looks like it's on again this year.
Oh, that's great. By the way, the Facebook user is none other than the great Larry Muse.
Larry, hi, how you doing? Good to see you. Larry and I had a trip planned here just a couple of weeks ago, and it's just about the time we had the big spike and everything, and all of a sudden my family got excited, and I didn't end up going. As a matter of fact, it was the same weekend I had a dream trip lined up. I was going to fish with Brian Barton, Larry Muse, Mike Mitchell, and then go cover the Patriot Catfishing Tournament.
There you
brought
go.
all the vets in, and I didn't get to do it. I was just a little bit bummed, I guess. But at any rate, roll with the punches. Do what you got to do.
Yep. We were talking about this earlier. You were talking about the great charity events that go on throughout the catfishing community, and I'm almost thinking that we need to almost have a separate list for all those great events, so that people can really see, what's out there, what's available if they want to fish and participate in these events and help these great causes.
That would be good.
And I think just to kind of separate that out so that people can see. And I think they're also going to see and realize just how much so many people do for so many others.
I think people would be surprised if they saw them all in one list.
Yeah. Well, let's
And
work on
some
that
of them
together.
do-
Catfish
some of
now
them-
in the ACA. We'll work on
Yeah,
that
right.
together.
We'll have to work on that. Yeah. You know, as I look at those covers, those are different covers behind me, and the lady that you see holding that big catfish, that reminds me of every July our issue is dedicated to the ladies of catfishing, and then it's called Cat Women, and of course we've done Cat Women 5. I think we're through 5 times of doing that, so that's always a fun one.
Oh yeah, there's some great lady anglers out there.
Oh, absolutely, and there's more and more. There's getting to be more and more.
Yeah,
and the other specialty issue we do is December, and it's always about the youth. It's a kids edition, and it concentrates on fishing with kids and so on. So,
you know, can I give a plug about something? You talk about December and you talk about kids and things like that.
Yeah,
we're going to, when we started ACA, we wanted to do a big giveaway every month. Okay, 12 times a year. We want to do a big giveaway every month to the ACA membership. Well, as you know, Ron, just with your publication, trying to do rig wrap, trying to do the ACA, trying to do so many things, my time is limited, and we weren't able to put that together to do it on a monthly basis. However, to make up for that, starting December 1st, we're doing the ACA 12 Days of Christmas. And every night, we're going to be giving away a nice, great prize package. So keep that in mind. That's coming.
Well, what's that broadcast going to be like? You going to broadcast a show every night?
Yeah, every night. Every night we're going to go live. We're going to talk about the products in that prize package. And then we're going to bring up the ACA membership list, everybody. And we're going to pick a name. Yep,
got a question from Cam Pollywog Pitt. She's afraid she missed the wheel.
Be careful. Be
but
careful.
She's okay. She
Don't
hadn't
get Cam
missed it.
going.
She has not missed the wheel yet.
No. We've got the wheels right over here.
Yeah.
We're going to break for a commercial. We come back. We're going to spin it. You know that Cam makes these unbelievable apple pies, right? You got to ask Cam for one of her apple pies.
Oh, okay. I'm asking.
Yeah. Cam, fire that oven up, baby. All right. We're going to be back in about a minute and a half, 2 minutes, and we're going to spin the
that
ACA prize wheel. Yes, sir.
No matter how hard you try, keeping your rigs tangle-free is, well, challenging. Well, not anymore with Rig Wrap. Staying tangle-free has never been easier. Just wrap, close, rinse, and store. Simple, right?
Wow.
No matter the rig, Rig Wrap has a storage solution to keep you tangle-free. From conveniently small to offshore extra large, you'll never worry about tangled rigs ever again. Rig Wrap, the world's best fishing rig storage solution.
Hey, I just saved a whole bunch of money on my hotel room for this tournament. You know that ACA has over 800,000 businesses in that discount program?
Man, have y'all seen the resources on the ACA website? I mean, they've got everything on there you need to know about catfish.
All that stuff is great, but look at what they're doing for conservation. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm not a member. Hello, ACA?
Cat River Anchors.
Okay. Oh, you changed your hat again.
Yeah, I got my Driftmaster hat on now. I'm not going to have time for all of them, but I didn't really think anybody would notice.
Well, you brought up the CR cat earlier, and now there you go. There you go. ACA, I got right here.
Yeah,
got the whole ACA kit right here. Yep.
And I think the only other one I hadn't shown was right here. So I'll just say thanks to those guys. Offshore Tackle.
Oh yeah,
you bet.
Big supporters of the ACA. Can't thank them enough.
Been with us from the first day.
Yep. No, fantastic folks. Fantastic folks. So I got the prize wheel right behind me here. So I'm going to go to random.org. Now I've got the names in from not only this week, but last week and the week before. So if your name was in there several times, you've got that many more chances to win tonight. So let me get to randomize it. And Randy Wilson, you are this week's ACA prize wheel winner. Randy, if you would, send me an email with all your contact information at info@acafishing.com. And we'll make sure whatever it might be is sent out to you. If you folks have not received, if you've won something in the past and have not received it, would you let us know? We pass along some of the information, and I hear some people haven't received anything or made contact with various brands to get their prizes, and we certainly want you to get what you won. And I know they do too. It's just, I guess, kind of trying to connect up. So here we go.
Congratulations, Randy.
Yeah, man. Look at that. Offshore tackle.
Offshore tackle.
Just talking about them.
We must have caused that.
Well, it's, so Randy, we're going to send your information to the folks up at Offshore Tackle. They may send you some offshore tackle, or they may send you some offshore swag. Not sure what they got in mind, but whatever it is, I think you'll enjoy it. So
congratulations.
Thank you for your support and joining in, and being part of ACA Live. And if you're not a member of the ACA, certainly we encourage you to join. It's $50 a year. That when you're out traveling, Ron, because both you and Dan are ACA members, actually charter members.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. That discount program that we have, man, it saves some money. It really, really saves some money. We talked to the folks who we contract with for that, and they said that the ACA uses that program more than the majority. I think it might have even been the most out of all of their people in the country. 29% use it. The average is around 11 or 12% that use it. So
pretty good.
Yeah, good job, everybody. Get out there and save some money.
Quick shout out to David Funk. David said he met me at Winter Blues in 2019. I hope I took your picture, David. That was another fun thing about the tournaments. I'd always try to go in on the captain's meeting and take everybody's picture with the Catfish Now banner or something. It's always fun to post those later.
Can I make a suggestion, Ron?
Yeah.
David Funk is a very funny individual. He comes up with this stuff online that you just don't see. If there's anybody who could put a cartoon or a picture up for Catfish Now, he's the guy.
He's the one.
Every month to come up with something comical, and he would be your guy. He plus he gives me a hard time about the Buffalo Bills all the time, which, by the way, are on Monday Night Football right now. Does anybody know the score?
Hadn't even thought of that football game tonight.
They're playing the Tennessee Titans. So anybody that's a Tennessee fan, I'm sorry, but we're going to beat your butts tonight.
We'll go see the last part of it after a while.
Oh, I've got it on. I'm recording it.
Oh, you're recording.
If you know the score, don't tell me. I don't want to know. I want to watch it.
I think in the third quarter it was.
No, don't tell me, Ron. Don't tell me.
I'm not. I don't know what it is. I haven't been watching.
So, Ron, what's in store for Catfish Now magazine?
Well, more of the same. I do hope to get people to using it a little more than they have. It's really quite a platform, and
it really is. No,
like
great.
we have that trophy club on there, and it's a place where people can post their own trophy, and instead of like you've got the 100-pound club,
right,
in the ACA 100-pound club, we've got categories in there from 0 to 20, and at 20
oh, that's cool. Yeah,
pound units. And so somebody, if their personal best is a 20-pound fish, they've got a place to post it, and they can do that. But it's not working right now because we're redoing it. It was part of that hack that happened to us, but it will be there. And I invite people to use that. And I also invite people, if they're interested in having their story in the column that we call Why We Catfish. And that's a reader submitted story that you can write up your story, and I'll help you edit it or whatever, and we'll put that in the magazine under your name. And it turns out it's one of the very popular columns because people do like to read about what the other anglers are doing and why, So
it's great.
Invite anyone that has that interest to contact me, and we'll try to get you in a future
Ron, how
magazine.
can they contact you?
Well, really, the best way is probably through the Facebook Messenger.
Okay.
That's just about as good as any. And I find that it's one of the best ways anymore. People don't do email like they used to. I still check my email every day. And if anybody wants it, it's PresleyR@bellsouth.net. But Messenger is probably the best way. I check it all the time, too. But, invite you to do that. And the other thing that I would invite people to do is if you go to catfishnow.com, and we already mentioned you can subscribe, but you don't have to. It's free. So, your subscription is just getting you a notice of when a new one comes out. But there's a little magnifying glass up there for a search symbol.
A magnifying, magnifying icon. Yeah.
And I even put Glenn Thomas in there today just to see, and son of a gun, his name come up. He's in the magazine. He'll tell you where he's at. So the whole platform is searchable. And if you want to learn about bumping, go up there and use that search thing. Or if you want to learn about bait, put bait in there and see what you come up with. It's pretty
another suggestion for folks too is that if you have, and correct me if I'm wrong, Ron, but if you have an event, a tournament or a charity event, anything, and you have a press release for that event, that Ron, I'm sure that you'd like to get those. Yes?
I do as many of those as I can, and it kind of gets overwhelming at times, but yes, absolutely. But here's the deal on that, and I'm glad you asked that. A lot of people will send flyers that are just a PDF or something that cannot be copied and pasted. And it saves so much time if you'll send a text document that we can turn into a little story or something.
Yeah, do it as somebody who writes a lot of press releases. Do it in Microsoft Word.
Yeah.
And send it in its raw form as Word. Don't convert it to a PDF. Just send it as Word, so that Ron, as an editor, can simply copy, paste, edit it, the way he thinks it's needed. Yeah. Ron is very, very good at that, so he can certainly tweak, things for you as well.
Makes my life easier.
Yes, it does. Yeah. And then also include some logos, include some pictures. But when you do the logos, make sure the logos that are being sent are done as a PDF with a transparent background or a PNG with a transparent background.
Well, you're asking for a lot there, but that all helps so much. But
trying to make your job easier, Ron.
Well, that reminds me of one more thing. I'd be remiss in my duty if I didn't mention this. I'll grab my phone. A lot of people know what my pet peeve is, but we all hold this phone like this.
I'm the same way, Ron.
Yeah, we take pictures like this. Well, if you turn that thing this way, remember how long these catfish are? You don't want to take them like this. You want to take them like this and get that fish, centered up in there. And And what I just think they look better. But the big deal,
people have to understand that a TV screen or a monitor, okay, is a 16:9 format.
It looks like this.
And when you turn your phone, that's a 16:9 format.
Yeah, exactly.
So when you turn your phone before you start your camera, okay, because a lot of times what happens is you'll start your phone like this, and you go to turn it, and it won't turn automatically. So start it this way, and that's how you'll get it. But take your photos.
Particularly true if you're going live.
Yes.
You can't go live like this and then turn it. You got to be like this when you go live, and then you'll get the 16:9 format.
The other thing too is use the camera on the back, not the front, because the megapixels, the pixels in these cameras are 3 or 4 times better than the camera on this side.
Yeah. So a lot of little photo tips there, but there again, that just happens to be my pet peeve. And it's not that I just think they look better, but also when you're doing a magazine, they're kind of like the TV that's shaped like that. Those templates on magazines are shaped like that too. And every time I see one of those vertical videos on the nightly news, I mean, I just say, well, we're doomed. It's not going to happen any different. Nobody's going to ever turn sideways, but they get those videos in, and then both sides of the screen are black, and you got a video in here like this.
Yeah.
So,
Ron, Chad's got another question for us here. Ron, what kind of changes have you noticed in catfishing for the last 10 years, and where do you see it going?
Well, the first change that I always remember is planer boards, because all of a sudden planer boards started coming into the forefront. But what I discovered after talking with people had them all the time. They just weren't talking about it. And now everybody just seems to share information a lot more, I think.
Yeah. No,
and
it's great that they do.
That, I mean, it was one of those secret kind of things. People were using planer boards, but they weren't talking about it as much. So that was kind of a funny one when you think about it. But people share information more and more all the time, and there's nowhere for it to go but up, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, it's just, and this year, I mean, I'm talking even the last 6 months, it seems like it's an explosion of sorts.
Yeah.
Plus, you're just seeing more big fish caught. And I don't know if that's, some people will say that's because of all the electronics and everything. And, but I think people are getting more skill because of the sharing. More people
the Garmin,
know how to do it.
Yeah, the Garmin graphs, the live scope is just unbelievable. So they can certainly find some unbelievable, fish.
Yeah.
With that equipment. I mean, Garmin seems to be moving the electronic industry along pretty rapidly.
Yeah, it is.
It's great to see. Great to see.
Hey, I may get that pie. I just see Cam had another reply there. See what she could do on that pie. So good. I'm glad you mentioned that.
It's good. It's good pie, Ron. She had at Mississippi River Monsters, I think there were 2 or 3 pies. We didn't get them in time to auction them off because we had that auction there, which raised over $15,000, which was absolutely fantastic. But yeah, there ended up being Saturday night. There ended up being, I think there was 1 pie or 2 pies. It was gone. I mean, it was like crumbs.
Yeah, nothing left.
Yeah, gone. Yeah. So yeah, fire up that oven, Cam. She's a lot of fun too. She's really a lot of fun. Just a reminder for folks, if you go over to AmericanCatfishingAssociation.com and go to tournaments and go to all the listing of all the tournaments that are there. If you're an ACA member, on the bottom of your page, your personal page, is a calendar. In that calendar, every time they post a tournament, okay, in the system, it will pop up on your calendar. So you'll be able to see that, or you can go there and go to the list of tournaments, click on it, and it'll take you over to their information on the ACA tournament management system, which is terrific. So if you don't see it and there's one of their events coming up, get them to enter it into the system, and that way you'll get to see it. So go to AmericanCatfishingAssociation.com, find the tournaments on the top nav, and search it through there. If you're not an ACA member, Ron, what should they do?
To find out about a tournament?
No. If they're not an ACA member, what should they do? Join.
Join, obviously.
Of course.
Yes, yeah.
You go to jointheaca.com, and please come support the catfish community. Remember, this coming year, 2022, we've got another great Sea Arc boat to give away. And this time, every ACA member, whether you fish a tournament or not, has a chance to win that boat. Every time you fish an ACA Alliance event, you up your chances by getting your name goes in the hat every single time.
Your name goes in the hat every time.
But
That's awesome.
Just as an ACA member now,
yeah,
you get a chance to win that boat. So call it a $50 raffle ticket if you want.
It's you can't go wrong. Wrong.
It's fantastic. The folks from Pure Fishing, Ugly Stick, Abu Garcia, Berkeley, have stepped up to support the ACA Alliance and helped us put together a great prize package. So hats off to them and support these people, folks. These are people that are driving this sport forward, that are helping this community. So Ugly Stick, Abu Garcia, Berkeley, and I'll go through the whole list of them. Garmin, B&M, Offshore Tackle, Bill Dance Outdoors, Mammoth Coolers. They make some great coolers. I don't know if you've seen their stuff. They really, really make some nice stuff. And their stuff is as good, if not better, than most of the high-end coolers that are out there. The nice part about it is that their price isn't that high-end price, but you get the high-end quality. So check out Mammoth Coolers the next time you're looking for a cooler. And we're probably going to have some of their stuff for the 12 days of the ACA 12 days of Christmas. So, Ron, I certainly do appreciate you being with us tonight. It really, really means a lot for me. I've always enjoyed talking with you. I respect what you do immensely. You've helped catfishing out so much, and you're so dedicated. Like I said, every time I end up at an event somewhere, there you are, and you're taking pictures and you're writing about these great folks and these events. And it's a lot of dedication and doing what we're doing with the ACA. I know how dedicated you have to be. So, brother, hats off. Thank you.
Appreciate the opportunity. Thank you. Fish with passion.
Fish with passion. That's your trademark, man.
That's my tagline.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Next week, we've got a great guest coming on. It's going to be real interesting. She's doing some really interesting things in her neck of the woods. So look for more information on that. And thanks, everybody, for joining in. And thank you for your support with the ACA. And again, if you're not a member, please become part of this family. Jointheaca.com. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
It's about passion for a sport we all enjoy. It's about conservation, education, community, and fellowship. It's about a single voice of strength. It's about being part of a common cause for the common good. It's about you. It's about us. It's our time to come together.
We're asking you to join us
and become a proud members American Catfish Association. You'll be happy you did. They're doing a great job.
Yeah, they are.